Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 1966 Jaguar XJ13. Now this was a prototype developed by Jaguar Engineering to compete at Le Mans in the mid-1960s. Sadly, due to a lack of interest from company management, the merger with BMC, which would eventually become British Leyland, and the release of the GT40 Mark II, which had a massive 7-litre V8, all in all meant that this car would be obsolete by the time it was complete. In 1971 it was crashed at Mira by accident during a publicity shoot for the Series 3 E-Type, as that was the first production V12 engine that Jaguar had ever made. And since this also has a V12 engine, they thought it would emphasise the fact that it's kind of got a race-bred engine going for it, but obviously not anywhere near as powerful as this. So yeah, I absolutely love the look of this car. Looks absolutely superb. Kind of looks like the Alfa Romeo 3 Stradale, kind of its overall shape, but yeah, it's definitely something from Jaguar, and yeah, really does look like a race-bred E-Type in a lot of ways, with the same kind of headlights and the same kind of rear end, and yeah, looks absolutely gorgeous. Not obviously a practical car by any means, because yeah, it's a race car, or at least was meant to be, but yeah, it's not really a boot, is it? It's more just for space or other things. But yeah, the engine is absolutely superb in this car. If it'll let me look at it. Come on, you're not going to let me? No, it's fine then. But yeah, it's a 5-litre double overhead cam V12 engine, producing 502 horsepower and 378 pounds-feet of torque, which is a huge amount for 1966. And yeah, you'd only really be able to get more than that out of a GT40 Mark II. So yeah, you can see why this would be considered obsolete in comparison to that car, because yeah, that does have more torque and more power. But yeah, this is still a hugely powerful car, and yeah, it'd be the fastest road-going car from Britain up until the Jaguar XJ13, and then obviously the McLaren F1. So yeah, but still, for 1966, this is hugely powerful, and yeah, a really quick car, and looks absolutely gorgeous in the process. So yeah, let's get out onto the open road and see just what this car can do. Right, so we're at the drag strip, and we're going to start off here, and then we'll drive around the map, because I'm not going to go on the track with this, because this is a car that really needs to be given the open road. So yeah, let's get out onto here and see how quick we can get to the speed camera. So yeah, this only weighs 2,557 pounds, which, when you consider you didn't have the uses of carbon fibre or other lightweight materials from then, you only really had aluminium to work with, that's really rather quite lightweight, especially considering it's got that large V12 engine. So yeah, and yeah, because it weighs so little and it's got more than 500 horsepower, you can do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, 0 to 100 in 8.1 seconds, and go to a top speed of 210 miles an hour. Now granted, that top speed is only really theoretical, because I don't think they actually were able to get it up to that kind of speed, or test it to that kind of speed, because obviously this was only ever a prototype, it wasn't ever fully fledged. But yeah, and obviously because of the crash in 1971, this isn't the actual original car. A lot of it was damaged in that crash, and it took more than 2 years for it to get properly repaired. But yeah, the engine is correct, and it looks exactly the same as it would. It's just not, the exact same, body panels that we used back in '66, and more from 1972-73. So yeah, but still, the fact that this still exists is a miracle, because it's only one of them. And yeah, it was originally tried to have been sold in 1996 for £7 million, which is around 3 times the price of a 250 GTO. And yeah, that's currently one of the most expensive cars ever to been sold on an auction. So it just shows how pricey this was even back then. Don't think they've tried to sell it since, but yeah, you're unlikely to ever see one of these ever out on the open road, because even if they ever did take it out, it's only going to be in specific places, and yeah, they're not going to be driving it like a maniac like I am right now. But yeah, still a fantastic car, handles beautifully. It's really got a very little in the way of body roll for such an old car, and yeah, turns in nicely. Doesn't feel like it's not able to handle the power, but you can definitely have fun with it at the same time, as you can see. So yeah, I'll let you listen to the engine for a little bit and then we'll finish it up. So yeah, it's not quite the most exciting V12 engine ever, but definitely sounds good, and it revs really well, quite high as well for a V12 from the 60s, which is all nice to see. Now, obviously Ferrari made V12 engines that were high revving as well, but they were, you know, small cubic capacity V12s, whereas this is much larger and therefore has a fair bit more torque than they would have as well. So as well as obviously horsepower. So yeah, really pleased that this is now in part of the Forza series, released as part of the car pass today, and yeah, it's one of 2 Jaguars that are currently available in the season pass, because next week we have the XJ13 more like special limited edition version that we're going to be looking at, which ironically is the car that beat this in terms of fastest British car. So yeah, really looking forward to that. But yeah, highly recommend getting this car and the car pass overall, because again, it's excelling. Obviously I've had a few issues. I wasn't a massive fan of the Huracan Evo. Felt it was a little bit too similar to the standard Huracan, and it should have been more the rear wheel drive version, but still, overall the car pass is still impressive, and yeah, this is a superb car, and the fact that they got their hands on a single, you know, made vehicle is yeah, absolutely incredible, and God knows how they did it, but I'm glad that they did, because yeah, this is easily one of my favourite Jaguars, and one of my favourite cars from the 60s as well. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.